Hello, LinkedIn. Hello, Facebook. Hey, everybody. So my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the Business Plug. And so you've tuned into the Business Plugs Mixer, which comes on every Sunday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on LinkedIn Live and on Facebook Live. I want to tell you about Orean, our guest, Orean Collier, who's our wonderful guest today. But before I get to her, I need to tell you about tomorrow. So are you a startup business or an existing business that doesn't have a business plan? Well, tomorrow I am teaching business owners how you can create a business plan yourself and save yourself thousands of dollars. The studies that I posted yesterday said a business plan will cost you between $5,000 and $20,000, guys. And so for 60 bucks, like 60 bucks, I'm going to teach you how to write it yourself. And so you can join me. I think the post is already in the link. You can join me for tomorrow's class. And if not, inbox me and I'll send you the link. But I want to teach people how to write their own business plans so you can get to the money or the investors or the partners that you need in order to do business well. Now, got the commercial out of the way. Let's talk to Orean, our guest. Hey, Orean.
Hey, how are you?
Doing very well, doing very well. I want you to introduce yourself to our guest, to our audience.
Okay, she said, my name is Orean Collier, and I'm an artist, and I can also add to that now, author. And I am a resident here in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay. And so tell them about what is it that Orean does?
Well, as I mentioned, I'm an artist. I like to do Afrocentric pieces. I do abstract pieces using acrylics, and just mixed media. I like to add a lot of different textures to my art, just to make it really interesting and unique. But I do watercolors. I do some of everything.
Absolutely. And how we met is I attended at the Family Justice Center at the invitation of Councilwoman Carol Burns. And she was introducing the center, the Family Justice Center was introducing some crisis management tools they had. And one of those was they will allow you to come and have psychological evaluations and counseling at the Family Justice Center if you were going through crises. And so while I was there, you were having an exhibit that had these wonderful pieces that spoke to me. And that's how we began to meet.
Thank you.
Yeah. The one I loved it was Afrocentric,
Yeah.
and it was mostly feminine pieces. How did that come to be?
Mhm. Well, that was really a friend of a friend of a friend, just kind of, started throwing my name out there. And one of the friends had one of my showings at her home. And someone that she knew had connections to the Family Justice Center.
Okay.
And told me I need to call them and see about getting my things, on display out there. And I immediately got on it, and they were, pleased to, have me as an artist out there. And I had my things on display, which was a huge accomplishment because I had said, I want to start putting my art out there and not just have it, just on the side. You know what I mean? I want people to start to see what I'm doing. And once I made up my mind to do that, that's when the doors just started to open, and I put my things out there, and I met, some amazing people, since having my things out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it was a pleasure to meet you. You told me about your business plug, and yeah.
Well, thank you. And I do thank you for your yes. So you said you told me you have some pieces you want us to view. Can you show us the pieces and tell us about them?
Yes, these pretty good. These are digital as well as, like, sketches that I do. And these are prints that I have available.
Those are very nice.
And again, they are, a lot of women driven pieces that I do, but they are the art that I like to do, as well as some abstract pieces. I don't have any of the abstracts right now to show, but I do have those on my website.
Those are very nice, very
But
nice.
that's all I brought with.
Yeah, they're always vibrant and full of color. Like you use a lot of color in your paintings. And like I told you, when I was at the exhibit, I was like, okay, her art is speaking to me. So there has to be an opportunity for us to do something together. And it's taken us a while,
Yeah.
but I finally figured out how I could make that happen. So again, thank
Well,
you
I'm
for
so
your
glad
yes.
you did. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your yes. So
Mhm.
tell us about. So you said you have a new book out. So tell us about the book.
Well, the book is my first children's book, and I have to back up a little bit if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Um, in in 2019, my life really shifted, and I was a single mother and raising my daughter, and it was just she and I. And my daughter, she would always, encourage me, and she would help me like with my painting. Sometimes I wouldn't, it's like, what am I going to name this painting? And she would sit there and help me come up with names. And, she was like my biggest cheerleader. Um, and before that, I had entered a contest, which was through Marie Claire magazine. And I won out of, 300 people across the country to design a handbag.
Congratulations.
Now, this was original um, paperwork, and it says, you, a handbag designer. And I wrote yes on there. And it was like I just spoke it. I was like, you know what? I'm winning this. My bag is going to be sold in stores the following season. That whole thing. But they never honored that. But I just want to show the bag was had it manufactured and everything. And so when all that didn't happen, it was kind of like, go like, um, you know, feeling like, okay, well, maybe my things are just not working, right?
Mm,
But my
mm.
daughter, she always was like, Mom, get back out there. You gotta, don't quit. Don't stop. Your things are too good. And a friend of mine shared that with me about it. And I'm saying all that to say, in 20, my daughter, um, and she was my world, obviously. And I said I was going to always show her picture. I'm going to always talk about my daughter.
I love it. I love
And
it.
this was my
Can
daughter.
you please repeat that because can you please
I
repeat
didn't
it?
hear you.
Just can you please repeat? So show us the purse after you show us your daughter. Show us tell us about your daughter again because we had a bit of a glitch right there. So what you said got kind of jumbled, and I want to make sure that our viewers get to understand the story that you're trying to convey. So I'm gonna come back out. So if you'll just start at introducing your daughter's name and then tell us the story, okay?
Yeah. Well, again, this is my daughter, and her name was London. She passed at 24 years old, and but she was my biggest cheerleader. She was always encouraging me, Mom, don't stop, don't quit. Keep following your dreams, keep going. Because I was kind of feeling like, where do I go from here? Especially when they didn't honor the handbag, because it was supposed to be sold in the stores the following season. Um, but when my friend showed me that, it was like, you know what, I have to keep going to honor my daughter. And when I lost my daughter, of course, you go into this downward spiral and your grief and your hurt and your, all these emotions. And, the last thing you want to do is paint. The last thing you want to do is design, but something kept pushing me forward. It's like, you have to keep going. My daughter had two girls of her own. One is 6 and one is 3. I don't, I do see grandbabies. I don't have them, I don't have her girls, but I do see them. And so that's where the book comes in. My daughter, she knew that wanting to do a book, but when all this happened, all that stuff went to the back burner. But I kept going. And this is the book that was published April the 30th of this year, Lasko the Artist. And I dedicate this book to her, and I dedicate this book to my granddaughters as a way to honor my daughter and be able to leave a legacy and something for my 2 granddaughters. This was a huge undertaking, and every step of the way, I just kept thinking about my baby, and I know that she's proud of me. I know that she's with me in spirit, and it's here, so I'm really excited about it. And I know that, like I said, I know that she's proud and happy for me too. So like I said, this was a way of honoring her.
I love that. I love that book. And anyone wanting to buy the book, the link is in the description of this video. So feel free to buy it, and then after you buy it, post your review and let Oréan know exactly how you felt about the book. Like, she's I'm sure going to watch and see what the reviews are on the book. But how wonderful to leave a legacy for your daughter and for your granddaughters, right? Because they're like, my grandmother wrote this book,
Right.
like, and it actually said, I'm a grandmother too. I have 5 granddaughters and 1 grandson. And I wrote my life story and put it in the Library of Congress because I wanted it to be
Okay.
available in all the public libraries in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And also I wrote it in a language that was very compatible with people who couldn't see well. Because at the time I had an 82-year-old godmother that I wanted to read it. And then I put it in the tone of a young person so that my granddaughters, if and when in life they find themselves stuck, they will know that they're made out of resilience and they can push through. And so I do
Oh,
get,
that's
yeah, I
wonderful.
do get the legacy. I understand it fully. Yeah, I understand that fully. So let me tell you, so
Yeah.
do you go and do speaking about your artwork? Like, how can people find your exhibits?
Well, I don't have any exhibits at this particular time. What I'm doing is mainly my website, OreanCollier.com. People can go on there, find my art. I have the, prints, original pieces. If you're needing things for your home or, a restaurant, whatever, businesses. But I'm open to all of that, as far as my next exhibit, anything, I'm open for it. Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. I think that's wonderful. So I've posted your website in the chat for both Facebook and for YouTube. And if you're on LinkedIn, her name Collier is in the ticker, so you can get her information and do that.com. So how did you first get started
Yeah.
painting? Like, where did that come from?
Well, when I was living in Hawaii, upon graduation, I was on the committee, if you will, where we had to do this huge backdrop for our graduation. And it was just something about being creative on that large scale just intrigued me, to where I could be just as creative as I wanted. And, of course, living in Hawaii, I mean, the colors and, just beautiful place as it is. But when we got back to the mainland, I was constantly seeing Bob Ross. I know that's, myself or whatever, but I was always watching Bob Ross. And if he
Okay.
was painting mountains, I was painting mountains. And, if he was doing the waterscapes, whatever he did, I did. And had all of his paint brushes, paints, books, whatever. But over time, my taste evolved. I started doing, now that's when I was using oils. But over time, I started to change to acrylic. And then I started doing watercolors. So I just kind of dabbled in a lot of different things until I just kind of found my groove,
Mhm.
which is now like the Afrocentric pieces and abstracts. I just love doing abstracts and, using a lot of different textures and, so I'll use like foam for hair and I mean, just whatever. I just like being creative.
I love that. I love that. And so somebody out there that's listening who is thinking of becoming an artist, what would you want them to know from your experience?
Well, for me, it is a true, true passion. I never went to school. I'm just self-taught. But if it's something that you like to do, you love to do, go for it. Whether it's, like I started watching Bob Ross. If it's somebody that you want to, learn from, there's lots of places that you can learn, even YouTube. But if it's something you really want to do, just go for it. There's a lot of different ways to, get your craft.
Absolutely. And that's a way of self-expression. Like I love that you found Afrocentric to be your genre of art, right? But that is a way of
Right.
actually helping other people to understand or express who you are. Because in your so like everything about you is very colorful, very vibrant, very alive, and very, I mean, just engaging. Like you're an attractor. You draw people to you because your aura is that of one of inclusivity and color, and I love that. I love that. So anybody that's thinking about
Thank you.
becoming like you did, you say you were self-taught. So that means that anybody that wants to do it can learn how to do it. Yeah,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
there's books, there's, anything that you want to learn, just read about it. Or like I said, you can watch different people, you know, yeah, that's what I did.
I love it. I love
And I
it.
also wanted
Yeah.
to say, um, along with my art, and I put things on, if you can see it good, but these are pop sockets. I don't know if you can see it that good.
Oh, okay.
It's featuring art, my art. And, you don't really see a lot of that in stores. So it was something that I wanted to showcase and put on pop sockets. And, it's just another way, another form of getting, my art out there too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a great friend in Florida who when I met her, she was doing the artwork that goes large scale in hotels, motels, you know, corporate businesses. And
Okay.
then she turned and
Yeah.
wanted to do something more business to consumer. So she started doing wearable arts, like in t-shirts and umbrellas and purses and all these other things that she does in selling her art, so that the average person, like at
Hmm.
first she was like large scale, so that was only corporate because her painting would take up a whole room. But when she learned how
Okay.
to do it on smaller scale, she made umbrellas out of it. She has purses and t-shirts and hats and all this wearable art that allows people to get at her
Right.
expertise, but then also to wear it. So I just thought
Mhm.
when I see when you ask, especially the paintings that you just showed, I see those as like t-shirts and umbrellas and all these things that my friend in Florida used in order to expand her brand. Yeah. But I love it though. The thing about it, so
Well,
is any of your artwork of your daughter?
Not of my daughter. It's mainly the pieces that I just showed you. Plus, there's a lot more, but I just didn't bring everything. But
Yeah.
a lot of it I do sell on Amazon. And I do have those pieces on T-shirts, and the pop sockets. So yeah, but
I love
none
it.
of my daughter yet. But what I just shared earlier about my friend telling me that my daughter, she found what my daughter wrote, and she was telling me, "Mom, don't stop, don't quit. Your stuff is too good, right?" So I took
Uh,
that and I put that on a shirt. It was my daughter's words in t-shirt form to
aw,
me, and
aw,
you know it just helps me to keep moving forward. And I want to be able to do that for other people who may have you know lost a loved one or lost a child, to be able to put that out there.
I love that. I love that because in COVID right now, I mean, I've went to a funeral a day this weekend. Like I went to one of my elders at my church on Friday, and then yesterday I went with a person that was raised in the same neighborhood as me. So there's a lot of people missing their loved ones right now because of the pandemic, if
Yes.
not for other reasons. And so I love that you did that. That memorialized her words on a shirt. That was wonderful. That is
Yes.
wonderful. So as we close,
Yeah.
I want you to what would you like the audience to take away from our conversation?
For me, it is to keep moving forward no matter what things may look like. If it's not looking too good at this moment, don't stop. When things happen, keep moving forward. I had to learn to do that, having lost my daughter, and, you know, never thinking I would ever go through anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And, I've had to pick myself up. I mean, I still have my days, don't get me wrong. But it was like I had to do this for her as well as for myself. I had to, show her that, I haven't stopped. I'm not going to
Yeah.
stop. I'm keeping my promise to you and to your girls. And so, yeah, just keep moving forward.
I love it. I love it. Well, I wish you nothing but success. And I hope people will visit your website. I'm going to actually go back and put the website in the description to make sure it's there. But I want people to come by and look at your beautiful work. Like I said, when I was there at the Family Justice Center at that exhibit of yours, your artwork spoke to me. And I didn't know how or why or
Thank you.
what was going to come of that. But I do know that one day we've been doing something together. And I hope this is just the beginning of what that looks like. So thank you very, very much for your
Me
yes.
too.
And for those of you who are tuned in, my name is Linda
Thank
Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. And you can catch me here on Sunday evenings at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. To sometimes I have guests, sometimes I have topics, but you're invited here every Sunday at 7 o'clock p.m. to sit into the conversation and to learn more about my guests. Please go ahead and follow Orean on her website. And you're also on social media, right?
I am on social media on all the platforms. And I got to mention just real quick, my art is on display at the downtown Chattanooga Library.
Oh, great.
So you
That's
can actually see
wonderful.
some
So,
of this. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. That's
I,
wonderful. So, yeah. So, yeah. So anybody visiting the public library downtown, then go by and this is the artist. So you'll know exactly who it is and reach out to her. Tell her you heard about her here and support her online. And we wish you much love and many blessings. If you'll hold on for
thank you
Orean, I'm
so
going to
much, Linda.
close
I
up.
really
You are welcome. It is my pleasure and my honor. You all, I will hold on for a minute, Ori. I am going to close this out. You can come back here next Sunday, 7 o'clock p.m. I have another guest. You know, I always have to look to see who my guests are because my memory at this age is like the outside looks one age, but I can promise you the inside is every bit of those 61 years I claim to carry. So sometimes it gets a little bit much to understand who's coming next week. But next week, I'm going to have Coach Danny. So if you are in the Building Your Own Six-Figure Business Facebook group, which is where I have over 500 business owners who learn about things like grants and business plans and how to structure their businesses. We do challenges, we read books, we do a lot of different things that is primarily focused on entrepreneurship. So if you're not in the Facebook group, it's called Building Your Own Six-Figure Business on Facebook. Coach Danny is our resident mindset coach. So she's helping us push through those limiting beliefs that we have used to keep us safe as a child. But now that we're an adult, and especially if we're business owners, there are some things we need to push through in order to get to our success. So Coach Danny is coming on next Sunday here at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to talk about the things she does in helping people push through and get their mindsets right. So again, I'll see you guys next Sunday. You have a great rest of your weekend. Good night.